Hello class, this week we were tasked with utilizing the America History and Life database for this week's discussion post. I selected sources that focus on Abraham Lincoln's leadership during his presidency. I was able to find an abundant amount of sources on the topic, but I was able to select 4 that I felt embodied the characteristics and qualities that help us better understand his unique leadership style that made him so successful and revered in such a tumultuous period in American history. So I started with Peter Field's Abraham Lincoln in the first person plural, a study in language and leadership. In this article, Field addressed the fascinating use of Abraham Lincoln's language, specifically with how he evoked an increase in community and unity with his use of the word we instead of I during many of his speeches and documented conversations. Next, Kirk Wilson's Paradox of Lincoln's Rhetorical Leadership was a really refreshing and honest assessment of Lincoln's paradoxical views as a politician in the mid-19th century. He was still is a professor, and he was inspired to write this essay from his American Survey course where they focus on rhetorical leadership. He bases his assessment on his analysis of Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which is supplemented by a plethora of primary sources from Lincoln's political career, specifically from his debates with Stephen Douglas. Next, Lincoln Perillo's Lincoln's Calvinist Transformation, Emancipation, and War attempts to study the role of religion in Lincoln's political leadership during his career, using Lincoln's words and written work to analyze not only what he said about religion was Perillo's main focus. Having to utilize many of Lincoln's primary sources to analyze his use of religion in his leadership, Perillo also compares the perspectives of many other scholars regarding how they perceived his use of religion throughout his leadership, despite not being one that claimed to be as religious. Lastly, Eric Sands gave us the article of Universal Evergreen of Life, Lincoln's serious use of humor. He addresses Lincoln's well-known use of humor as a political leader, especially with how he was able to evoke humor to ease the tensions and emotions during the war. But Sand took a different approach to Lincoln's use of humor by arguing that his humor served as a kind of cueing device to draw the public's attention to his leadership and statesmanship. All of these sources did provide a distinct perspective of just how unique of a leader Lincoln was, while bringing light on the fact that he was not a perfect human of today's standards, but for his time and status, he was remarkably balanced in radical and traditional approaches to his politics that maintained a priority on democracy and the equality it deemed necessary to fulfill its true purpose only the way he could and felt responsible for. So again, America History and Life is again a very fruitful database and one that can really get you any source that you need when you are focusing on a topic of history, especially with the topic of Abraham Lincoln that is abundant in sources. My real challenge was really just honing in on the sources that I felt were appropriate, but also provided a unique perspective that highlighted some of his unique qualities as a leader during the Civil War. So I hope you're able to take a look at some of these sources and get a new perspective and appreciation for his leadership like I did. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you.